Alright guys, I wanted to talk about the rigger before we go the route that I'm going to take this, and I'm going to cover a couple topics here. I figured this would be a pretty cool idea. I'm still waiting for one more motor to show up, but I have got this one in, so I wanted to cover this topic at least and show it to you. I've got the inside of it completely gutted. This is the cooling jacket that I was running with the 2958 motor. 2958 rocket motor, okay? So what we have here is we have a Flycolor 120, the Kraken series, okay? It has a maximum of 120 amps and it has pretty much no burst amps. I think it's like 140 burst amps and then 120 max run amps. We move down here, we have the typical Flycolor 90. So this is 90 amp continuous with like 540 burst amps, which is kind of incredible. Then we come over here, we've got the Shark G2 100 amp. Now, I want to show you the size difference kind of side by side, right? Now, we already know that this Kraken will fit against the side of this boat. That's how I had it originally set up. It was sitting in there just like that, okay? Fits perfectly. Now, if we try to put the Shark in there like so, it's not gonna fit. It's just ever so slightly not gonna fit, okay? And you can tell when you put one on top of the other how much taller that is than that one, all right? This one, the Flycolor 90, it won't go in that way either. You have to lay it down on the bottom of the hull, and that's cool. But my thought was, I want to pop this cooling jacket off, because if we look at the cooling jacket on this thing, the cooling jacket makes it this much wider on this side, and it makes it that much wider on that side. And we can replace it with this small cooling jacket that Offshore Electric sells. I've had this for probably 6 months. I planned on using it on my Flycolor 150 back in the day, and I never did. But what it looks like it will fit perfectly on the Flycolor 90. Now, one thing I wanted to cover here. We've got the scale. Let's go ahead and turn the scale on. Scale is zeroed out. Let's start with the Flycolor Kraken 120. Now, if you can tell, I've got a different wire on it since the other wire had melted. So we've got a little bit extra weight here, and we have two little 4mm connectors on it. That's the only difference in weight. None of the others have connectors. So it's completely on the scale. We've got 95 grams for the Kraken 120. Let's go to the Flycolor, regular Flycolor 90. We've got 100 grams, so it's 5 grams heavier. Let's go ahead and take the Flycolor 90 off. Let's put the Shark 100 amp G2 on there and see how much it weighs. 105 grams. So right now the Kraken is 10 grams lighter than the Shark, and it's smaller, and it fits. So in my opinion, if you wanted to run this one or this one, I would say go with this one. Now, I believe Hobby Wing sells a 120 version, very similar to this, similar size, but I don't have access to it. But what I like about this is that it has such a high burst amp. So I think I'm gonna try this ESC this go around with my new setup. We'll have access to this if we need it. If we want to make changes, we can. we can. I plan on running 5.5mm bullets. That's what I bought those for. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pop this cooling jacket off of the Flycolor 90, and we're gonna see the weight, and then we're gonna set the cooling jacket on it, and we're gonna check the weight of that setup. All right, well that took a little bit of trickery, a little bit of flathead screwdriver action, and a really long razor blade. Because we had to basically pop off the cooling jacket, which basically was pretty simple. You just slid the long razor blade all the way in and cut through the thermal paste that it has there. I went ahead and cleaned off those 3 little heat sinks there. I'm not really sure what direction I want to put this yet, but just for Now we're gonna put it on right like so and just use the existing thermal paste to stick it to it for testing purposes. Now let's go over here. If you remember, I believe this one was, what, 105? Yeah, this one was 105, I believe. And then this one was 100 before. Let's see what it is now. Cool. It's 93 now. Now let's do this. Let's tear it. 94. Not bad. Okay. So we have dropped, I believe, we dropped somewhere in we either dropped 5 or 10 grams, which is quite considerable. I'll have to correct it on the screen. I can't remember. I believe it was like 95, 100, and then 105, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 95. Yeah. This one's just not as. Yeah, 105. Okay. Cool. So we got that. That's the way I think I'm going to do that. Now, so we formulated a game plan for the ESC. We still can't put this in there until we get our motor in. Now, here's the dilemma that I have with my motor. So this is a TP motor. This is the 2040 or the 2940 that they have listed. It's a 4220 kV. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what it looks like. Okay. So this is a cute little motor here, but the issue is, from what I read online, TP sells their own cooling jacket. When I ordered it, it asked me, is this going to be for a boat, a plane, or a car? I clicked boat. It was supposed to bring up the cooling jacket for the boat, and it didn't get sent to me. So maybe I need to go on TP's website and order the $10 cooling jacket, and that will fit this, because we have a 29 millimeter cooling jacket here. Guess what? Doesn't fit. You can't even force it. So I'm sure I could probably pull the O-ring out and maybe file this and make it work, but I believe it's just too tight all the way around. So we're going to do one of two things. In the next few days, I've got another motor coming, where this is a 67 or 68 millimeter long canister. I have got a SSS 2960 coming, and it is a 4122 kV, where this is a 4220. I've got a 4122 coming, which is kind of a weird kV value, but it is going to be giving me a cooling jacket. So now, because this is longer, this is like 8 mils longer than the other one and 10 mils longer than the previous motor I had in here, it's probably going to stick out the top of the deck, and I'll probably have to formulate a new lid for it, or at least adjust this one, how I had to do this. I may have enough room, but I don't know. But I want to run the SSS motor first, because it's a smaller motor. It's a 2960, and then we'll get a couple runs in with it, and then we'll throw the TP motor in there. So I don't want to use this one quite yet. So I ran out and checked my mailbox real quick, and look what was sitting in there, the SSS motor. So this one is a 4220 kV and a 4122 kV. So they're very, very similar. Let's go ahead and look at this little baby and compare the lengths. It's kind of cool. Let's just do tail to tail. Not really much of a difference, is it? Not much at all. It's kind of cool. Okay, now the real key here is, will it fit the cooling jacket? Because we know that this cooling jacket won't fit that motor. So my thought is, let's go ahead and measure this motor and see if they measure the same width or the diameter. From TP's website, it says 29.5, and it looks like 29.5 mil. Let's go over here to the SSS motor and measure it. Same diameter, that's perfect, it's 29.5. So that means the cooling jacket will fit this, it will also fit this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in the boat and we'll save this for future runs. If we can, we'll probably throw this cat pack on with either this ESC or whatever ESC that I run. And then another topic is turn fins. So if you've ever been on eBay and you've looked up Shrimp Outrigger turn fins and you've seen this turn fin here for sale from China for like 11 bucks, 12 bucks, 13 bucks, this is the one that comes from China. So when I ordered the Flycolor 90, I went and made sure the seller actually had this turn fin. Actually, it was vice versa. I clicked on turn fin and then I looked for ESCs, and I bought 2 things from the same seller, and I just waited 3 weeks to where I could get the package in from China. So this is the turn fin that somebody makes, you know. I just felt like, let me buy a legitimate turn fin that had a nice smooth contour on it. It is quite big for this boat in comparison to the size of the boat, but we will run it. So this is the turn fin that they sent me, 10 grams, and then this is the turn fin that my buddy Fred made for me. So if we look at his, it's 12 grams. We put them kind of on top of one another like so. You can see just how much bigger his is. We'll pull the his off and we'll put it like so. So it looks like the one from eBay will stick in the water a little bit more. My thoughts on that was I'm gonna adjust these holes and raise it up out of the water a little bit so it's not so deep in the water. But I do like the little swoop effect on it, where it's not such a drastic curve, because his is pretty drastic. If I can get the camera to go on that, that's probably like a 45-degree angle, and this one's more like a 30-degree angle. It's really hard to get the camera to focus, but I'm not going to go into any more detail here. I've covered all my topics. I've pretty much given you a lot of information based on weights, sizes of speed controllers and whatnot. If we wanted to, we could now, in theory, put that on the side. I don't know if we would get the ability to put the battery in like that. So my thought was we're going to try to lay this thing down kind of under the motor in a way to where we can gain access to cooling and space enough for the motor and to get the battery in there. But it's so tight, filming the whole process, not really worth it. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of before and after, what my thoughts and game plans were. But I think this little cooling jacket will do me really, really good. And if it doesn't work, I'll let you know in the next video on it. So hopefully in 2 days, I'll have the new SSS motor. I'll get it all put back together, and then we'll take this thing out on the water. So thank y'all for watching. See y'all on the next one. Peace.